understood it's a fully exponentially growing system. And initially I was thinking there is a design error, and I tried to explain there's a design error. And it took me some time to understand it's not design error, it's by design. You have to understand, if you bring your assets into the bank, these are not your assets anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You have only claim on your assets. And from one day to next, they took this bank off of the payment system, of the SWIFT payment system, of the US dollar system. The bank was bankrupt in 24 hours.
My thesis is that we need a credit-based system on top of Bitcoin, but not a credit expansion system. This is the Mooncast.
See you, Space Cowboy.
The journey has been a long one. I've spoken to now 50 experts in the Web3 industry and put over 100 hours of content. Shout out to the truth seekers, the verifiers, the enlightened, the shapeshifters, the reality benders, the creators, and the space cowboys. If you don't get it by now, well, then I guess I'll see you at episode 1000. Welcome to the Mooncast, man. Welcome. It's good to have you. Where you at?
Oh, okay. I'm based in Lucerne. Okay, it's besides Zurich, 50 kilometers,
Yeah,
well, plus minus.
yeah.
You know,
I love the beard, man. It's nice.
you don't have any.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I've been trying for like 2 decades now. It's just not working. Oh man. So yeah, I just want to, before we start, can you just a little bit introduce yourself to the audience, let them know a little bit about your expertise, your background, because you have a wealth of knowledge. So if you could just do a quick intro.
Oh, okay. So practically now in a Web3, we have launched before a smart credit. It was the first fixed term borrow lend platform. Okay, it's now the top 20 Ethereum platform.
Hmm.
Okay, now we launched a chain-aware AI. So we have 4 predictive AI products running. But before this, I worked 10 years for the Credit Suisse. Like I was a VP in Zurich. And before this, I worked for the biggest independent hedge fund. Okay, it's as well besides Zurich. And before this, I worked actually in startup companies. I created products. Like 4 of them were very successful. So there are more than 250,000, maybe now more than 300,000 users. So that's my background. Yeah.
Yeah, when you speak about Credit Suisse, so how long do you say you worked there at Credit Suisse?
I worked 10 years in Credit Suisse. Okay,
Yeah.
I was in the meantime a little bit short in the UBS too, but then I came back to Credit Suisse. And now UBS took over Credit Suisse.
What was that
Yeah.
experience like at Credit Suisse? And can you a little bit break down the kind of, because a lot of people they don't understand kind of like how the operations of a bank work. And can
Mhm,
you break
mhm.
that down of what that experience was like, and was it eye opening for you in understanding what money is, and was that how you started your journey and then eventually getting into crypto?
Oh, okay, let's say first let's look at the business model of a Credit Suisse. Now, most of people who work, okay, I'm a CFA as well. I'm a chartered financial analyst. Like, I did my MBA in the Maryland Smith. So, these are all these check items that you need to be in the Credit Suisse now. But most
Hmm.
of people in Credit Suisse, they don't see how the bank is generating revenues. They don't understand the revenue model now. And the Credit Suisse default de facto is a sales organization. It has a
Hmm.
for every employer, front employer, you have 8 employees in a background, is a back office. But this is so heavy compartmentalization, so that people don't understand how the bank is actually working, how the money is created, and it's just a very small number of the people in the bank understand how the revenues are, from where the revenues are coming and how they're coming. Okay, this is like one part, like how the bank creates money, and sorry, how the bank creates revenues. Now the second part is like the commercial banking system and the credit system in a general, the central banking system, the credit system. Okay, I was honored to be a co-lead of the Too Big to Fail program in a Credit Suisse. Okay, that's this program which specified what will happen if a Credit Suisse will go bankruptcy. And like a similar, very close bankruptcy situation, this emerged then I think it was March this year. Or was it last year? I don't remember when it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was last year
It was
when the
last year. It
UBS
was last year. Yes.
took over the Credit Suisse. Practically, we prepared the plans how we separate the Swiss business. So we need to keep the Swiss banking operational and all over the weekend. Practically, to separate the full Swiss bank over the weekend because one third of small medium enterprises in Switzerland are uh, Credit Suisse clients. So if Credit Suisse goes down, if payment system goes down, you ain't have an economy anymore. So we prepared all these plans. But of course, thanks to these plans, I started to research much more about the banking system, about
Mm-hmm.
the credit systems. I understood very many things, especially how the banks are generating the money. Like said, it's not so transparent how the banks are generating the money. Now, and that's why I'm very, very thankful to Credit Suisse. And because of this as well, it was a logical jump to the Bitcoin meetups, like Bitcoin meetups in Zurich. They started like 2013. We started with the Bitcoin meetups, and they were the core developers there. It was unbelievable. Now like a Bitcoin, the core developers, you cannot speak with them.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot reach out of them. But there were two core developers, Mike Kearney and Peter Woolley at that time. They were just there in the Bitcoin meetups, and usually there were two of them. Then me, my brother, two of our friends, and maybe some other people, and we were discussing hours and hours and hours, half days. We were discussing about all these different topics. So that means thanks to Credit Suisse and this understanding how the banking system is working. Okay, we have to separate the revenue generation of the bank, and which is a very interesting topic already. And the second topic is then how the money is created. Like, and if you understand these things, then the very next step is to go very fast into Bitcoin. And so I'm
Yeah.
very thankful to Credit Suisse for this eyes opening. So very, very thankful. Yeah.
Would you say that they do that by design to have people working there, but not really sort of push for the education on how the money is generated, how the profits are generated? Do you think it's by design?
Yes. Okay. Let's. Before I'm coming to this question, let me say it this way. Like Switzerland, I think there are 251 banks. Now, technically
Mm-hmm.
speaking, everyone can apply for the banking license, but if you are not a member of the family, you will never have it. So it's only very selected people who will, or selected companies, investors who will get the banking license. So it's a very selected club. And now, if you are in this bank, inside of these banks, inside of these very selected clubs, then there is no intention to distribute this know-how, how
Mm-hmm.
the banks are generating the revenues. So they are front employees, they are selling, they are like a 1 to 8 ratio, usually like back office to the front employees. Of course, these are product revenues, and so that we are killing the sales revenues, but there is more. So you are like using client assets as a collateral, so you are hedging against the client assets, or you use the client assets as the collateral to take your own position, or you well, Goldman Sachs, you speculate against your client assets. You tell the client one thing and then you do another thing. So there are
Mm-hmm.
multitude of versions what you can do. Yes, so we have to separate two topics. Like one is how the banks are generating revenues. This is one
Yes.
topic that people often don't understand, and because revenues as well, it's related to the risks that the banks are taking. Because to
Yeah.
generate more revenues, you have to take higher risks. So and the second is this money creation topic. So this is two topics, okay, revenue share creation and then how the banks are creating the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, back to you.
Yeah. So when it comes to, because we for my audience, they kind of, I kind of beat it into them about how fiat currency works. So when it comes to how they in particular generate the profits and the revenues, can you speak a little bit more to that topic specifically, just so you can get a little bit more perspective on how the revenues are actually generated?
Okay, let's separate the private banking, let's separate the investment banking. Now in
Mm-hmm.
the private banking, all the ideas that it's a very recurring revenue business now, but you have to sell the products. You're selling the products, let's say the investment products to the old ladies who don't understand so much the finance. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, there are all regulations now in the space, in the place that you can sell only the products which are allowed to the
Mm-hmm.
old ladies or the old gentlemen. But particularly, you're selling the products, and then these products you're taking the fees. Now,
Yes.
and of course, it's not only the fee. But inside of the products, you're using some leverages. Now, inside of these leverages, you have again a next fee. Or maybe you're taking, let's take an investment fund. Like investment funds, we have a total expense ratio, and but people have to think this total expense ratio is maybe 2%, like of your invested assets. Look, there's a safekeeping account fee, there's another fee, there's a subscription fee, there's an exit fee. So it's a very high complex structure, and then it is a word called total expense ratio, meaning how much of your profit or how much of your assets you're giving every year to the bank. Now, that means if the bank is earning 5%, total expense ratio is at 2%, you get 3%, you will tax it, and you will end up with 2.5%. So the question is why you do it? Why do you take a risk? Why do you take a risk to keep your assets in a bank? Okay, if they are too big to fail, they are like a government protection and so, but if they are not too big to fail, your assets are not protected. Let's speak this openly, in the United States, in Europe, in Switzerland. Okay, in the United States, you have the Adtech, Federal Deposit Insurance Company. Now, you have similar structure in Switzerland, you have similar structure in the Europe, and it's an insurance mechanism. But if the banks are going down, only the amount of money that is in the insurance is covered. If there is
Yep.
more, it's not covered. So it's insurance now.
What's that
But
amount? What's that amount in Switzerland?
in Switzerland, it's 100,000, but now you have to think on this way. If you divide the money that is insurance with the deposits that are done in Switzerland, it's 4%. So that means the insurance can cover 4% of the assets. So of course, but there is an insurance now. But now, if you're thinking like, let's get back to this investment fund. So you have this total expense ratio, so which are 2%, but banks are usually not exposing total expense ratios. They're just saying we have a yearly fee here, 1%. They're not speaking safekeeping account fees and so on. Now we're getting to structural products. In structural products, there's even higher fees, there's a higher maintenance fees, there's a leverages inside them too. So you end up paying 2%, maybe you earn 3, 4, 5%. And so now you have a portfolio management. For portfolio management, of course, you have to pay extra. And the portfolio management is starting from 1 million assets, like a net asset. So you're starting from there. And so practically, the banks are getting very many small hidden kind of revenues out of the products, and now certain products are then pushed. And it's not from this point of view that these products are now useful for the clients. It's more from the point that these products are beneficial for the banks. Now, banks are sales organizations, and the banks are perfect sales organization. Their motivation is to generate the revenues. That's it. They're not there to serve you. That's not the mandate. These are private organization. Now, this is private banking. So we're taking the private banking side. Now, if you're taking investment banking side, then it's getting a little bit more interesting. But probably, you notice all the leverages. You can generate higher profit if you're taking higher leverage. And okay, all the Lehman story, Lehman crisis,
Mm-hmm.
2008, 2007.
Yeah.
Actually, I was very thankful for the Lehman crisis because then I started as well to read more to study the monetary system and to, to
How did
study
it
the
affect
money.
you?
Uh,
How did the Lehman Brothers crash? How did it affect you?
okay, that was the time when I started at Credit Suisse. Now,
Yeah.
for me, it was a very positive because before this, I believe these things what you're learning in the like in a master economics, you're learning these things that
Keynesian economics.
Keynesian economics, and you learn the money creation in the style that the grandmother is
Mm-hmm.
speaking, bringing her money into the bank, and the bank is lending it out, and you're learning these fairy tales now. And then I understood it's not a fairy tale. I understood it's a fully exponentially growing system. And initially, I was thinking there is a design error, and I tried to explain there is a design error. And it took me some time to understand it's not design error, it's by design. It's not an error. Design. It's by design because the system is created in a way, the fiat level system, that people are losing every year. But if you're losing every year 2-3% of your asset basis of inflation, inflation is a separate topic. We can come off this. Inflation is very underreported. Um,
Mm.
this is seigniorage. That's the profit of the guys for creating the money, meaning the banks. They get a seigniorage, but all society is paying for this. Meaning every year, every middle class family is paying 3% of their assets for the seigniorage now, but you accumulate it over the years and you're getting a nice profit. It's over the
Yeah.
multiple years. So, and and so on. So we can speak very much about this. So actually, I'm very thankful to the Lehman, so that it triggered my thinking. Then I'm very thankful to Credit Suisse. It triggered my thinking as well, like how the banks are working, uh, the leverage things, transparency things, how the banks are. You have to understand, if you bring your assets into the bank, these are not your assets anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You have only claim on your assets,
Mm-hmm.
but the others have claim on your assets too. No, you are part insured, other part not insured. You have to understand that the laws were changed in Europe 2012, meaning if the banks are going down, okay, and if you cannot separate the bank to keep it alive, you will convert the deposits into the equity. Now, equity value is obviously zero, so you have 100,000 deposits. So let's say 150,000. It's not covered by insurance. Let's say 50,000 if there is insurance. And now the question is what is happening, and this was done in Greece, and so it's converted into equity. So from one day to next, you don't have assets. So I don't know. I hope guys are aware of this, and these laws are there in Europe. So okay, you bring the assets into bank, you have claim on your assets. Junior claim on your assets. Others have claims on your assets too.
Did you know that smart contract developers make around $120,000 per year? We are building the biggest Web3 talent pool in Africa, linking you to companies looking to outsource cheaper labor. Find out and join us at helico.xyz. And as always, see you, Space Cowboy.
So,
Exactly.
so and these your assets can be converted into the equity of a bank. But if a bank is failing, the equity value is zero. So you will get equity with a value zero instead of your deposits. So then this insurance mechanism, like better speaking, but which in Switzerland covers only 4% of the total deposits. But just imagine one of the in Switzerland there are five too big to fail banks. Just imagine that one of them will go gone, will go bust. Okay, which will not happen. So there is no way to with this 4% to cover all deposits. You cannot do it.
Yeah.
So like okay, so that means people don't know how the banks are generating revenues. People don't know what risks they are taking by using the banks, by keeping assets in the banks, even safekeeping accounts. People think that safekeeping accounts belong to them, not fully. Like safekeeping accounts, banks are using them as a collateral. Now, let's speculate a little bit. Let's put this collateral down a little bit. Let's see what happens. So, okay, so that means you're not owner of your asset. There is a risk. Someone else is earning with your money.
Yeah.
And additionally, you have the seigniorage topic. That means someone else gets the profit of the money creation. It's not you, it's someone else. So yeah, that's how the banking system works.
Who
So
so who decides what's too big to fail? Is it just based off of liquidity? And whichever banks have the most liquidity?
okay, like not it's called like a payment critical, systemically critical banks. Now, but the banks have, of course, interest to be systemically critical, because if you are systemically critical means you have like a state guarantee. State is taking, if any, you can do whatever mistakes you want to do, like in a Credit Suisse example, but state takes care that everything will be fine. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's called so systemical criticality, meaning there's a too high impact on the economy,
Mm-hmm.
payment economy, credit economy, if the things are going down. Now, what it means in Switzerland, we have five too big to fail banks and 251 banks. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in Europe, I think there's 7,000 banks. In worldwide, there are 23,000 banks. But what will happen if the next crisis occurs? Then the smaller banks, they will disappear. In the smaller banks, you will get this that deposits are converted into the equity. There's no too big to fail for the small banks.
Mm-hmm.
Small banks will be taken over, and you will get this very big consolidation of the banking sector, even bigger, meaning and you have to think this, these are sales organizations with the goal to generate a profit. They're not there to serve small medium enterprises. They're not there to serve families. They are there to generate profits, and the easiest ways of what is allowed regulatory, they will use it to
Yeah.
generate profits. So Oh,
And
sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
no, no, this is great. This is great. I wanted to ask another question too as well before we switch over about the bank secrecy in Switzerland. Is that still a thing, or has that been exterminated? I know that that used to be a thing, but maybe you could speak to that more.
Okay, it is still a thing, but it was okay. My personal opinion is Switzerland made a very big mistake by giving the bank data to the United States, because United States asked them what was the story of the data exchange of this of the Americans, American
Yeah.
domicile, U.S. domiciled persons in Switzerland.
Hmm.
Now Switzerland said we cannot do it because we have a laws. And then what America did, okay, it's not so public. There is in Switzerland, there's a one bank, or was one bank. This bank was 150 years old. You have to imagine 150 years old, small private bank, serving families, not one generation, multiple generations. And from one day to next, they took this bank off of the payment system, of the SWIFT payment system, of the US dollar system. The bank was bankrupt in 24 hours. And this was like a
Wow.
war. Yes, and no one is speaking. Okay, they're not speaking about this. This was like, if you don't, it's called blackmail.
Yeah.
So it's not anymore like, hey, I'm a sovereign, you are sovereign, we create a contract because Switzerland is a sovereign state, United States is a sovereign state. So you deal based on the contracts with each other. It was a direct blackmail. If you don't do what we are telling you to do, we will exclude you banks for the payment system. And the TT is an example of this one small bank. You have to imagine 150 years, very conservative bank in St.
Hmm.
Gallen, so close to Zurich. So they excluded from payment system. They was bankrupt in 24 hours. Of course, no one
When
wants
was
to make.
this? What year was this?
This was okay when I don't remember now. 2010. This was then when this all this topic emerged. The U.S. The US domiciled money in Switzerland. Now,
Hmm.
and and based on this, because it's not allowed to send client data about the border in Switzerland, be it
Yeah.
electronically, be it by letter, whatever format. Format doesn't matter. And then the Swiss government gave an exclusion and an order to UBS to send the data over. Now, and the Credit Suisse did the same. So where I worked. Now, but Credit Suisse did even step further. uh, Credit Suisse even didn't only send the data of the American citizens and American domiciled persons to the IRS. Credit Suisse sent as well a data of the employees of Credit Suisse. So that means when employees of Credit Suisse are entering the United States, then several of them were just questioned on the immigration till they are telling a little bit more.
Yeah.
So then this started.
That's
And
interesting. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead. Sorry, sorry.
mhm.
No,
And so technically speaking, it was a blackmail of United States about against Switzerland, but we have to see this blackmail has an it's not a blackmail in the sense of I want to get now the tax data of these guys. It's a blackmail in this sense. Hey, you Swisses, we are here, America. We have the big banks, and you do what we tell you to do. If you're going out of the sandbox, not good. Stay in the sandbox. Otherwise, look what happened with the small bank there.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And you know what's funny is they've been doing this for a long time. I mean, if you look at post colonialism in Africa, they did the same exact tactic too as well. And so they
exactly.
use this same strategy to impose economic incentives for themselves, and then it cripples then the economy, and then they're able to continue the game, in this form of neo-colonialism. And yeah, it's
It's a
crazy.
neocolonialism. It's a corporatism, and yeah, and but technically speaking, there's a very simple solution to these things. Just to say, abolish limited liability companies, introduce
Hmm.
full liability. So, like it was 150 years ago, there were partnerships. Partnerships are fully liable. If someone commits a crime, do something bad, he's fully liable with his personal assets. And then people start to think. Then directors start to think: Do I really want to take this step or not? At the
Yeah.
moment, you have a limited liability companies. Do whatever you want. You don't have any liability, but which is perfect for the corporations. Okay, and then you get this aggregation of money up, and
Hmm.
then aggregation of money away from the middle class up, and from the poor up, and you
Hmm.
get this very divided society. Yeah.
I have an even better solution. Buy Bitcoin.
Okay, we need okay, this is one part. One part
Yeah.
is a monetary system, but other is like economical system. Now, in economical system, it's a liability question. Let's
Yeah.
take the Lehman famous crisis. How many went to the jail? Like
Yeah.
how many families were destroyed? How many went
Mm-hmm.
to jail? Okay, we know. I think it was this just this one French guy, like in working in one American bank, and they put him in a jail for because they said like he was doing some manipulation and so. But how many families were destroyed? How many businesses were destroyed? And no one was liable. So put the full liability now. Remove full liability. Put the limit. Remove limited liability. Put the fully liable. Say you have partnerships. Because earlier you create the corporations only for the public good. You
Yeah.
build a bridge, build a street. Okay, that's a corporation, and the corporation had an end date. And when the mission was accomplished, you close the corporation. But all the rest was a partnerships, meaning full liability. And the second thing is a monetary system. Now, buy Bitcoin, and in the monetary system, we need only two steps. The one is the base money. Bitcoin is a base money, but the second
Yes.
is a credit money on top of this. We need a credit expansion. If I'm a company, I have to pay my employees today, but I will sell my goods in 30 days or in 90 days, or maybe it takes even longer. So I need to finance. I need to finance. And so that means on top of a Bitcoin, there has to be a credit system as well. Now, currently, there's a fiat credit system. We know the fiat credit
Yeah.
system is not financing the productive economy, but just a financial economy, financial speculation. But it's two topics. Not just a Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a base money. You need a credit. You need a credit system.
Yes.
And before Federal Reserve was created, then every bank, United States, okay, could issue their own credit money. So, like, and you could use credit money of Bank A or credit money of
Mm-hmm.
Bank B, and so it was beautiful now. And
Mm-hmm.
if people didn't trust it anymore, Bank A, okay, they moved the assets away and they went to the Bank B, and so on and so on. And it was a self-regulating system.
Yes.
So till this Federal Reserve concept was included and the credit money was standardized. So that means
Mm-hmm.
instead of standardized credit money, you need again a credit money, you need a competition because we are speaking, it's a capitalism, it's a free economy. Right? Let's have a monetary competition between credit monies of different banks. So which credit money is more stable? People want to have it more. Which credit money is, let's take Deutsche Bank, leverage 1 to 100 in the balance sheet. Probably it's not so stable. Like a UBS leveraged 1 to 30, it's probably more stable than the Deutsche Bank. So probably people will prefer credit money of the UBS compared to the Deutsche Bank, nothing against the Germany, sorry guys, there, Deutsche Bank. So, me and you had a monetary competition, and through this monetary competition, the credit monies were competing with each other, and they balanced each other out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the Federal Reserve was implemented at central because it's not only central banking like a base money. It's as well a credit money. We have always two parts. We have credit money and we have base money. So
Yeah.
credit money is 80% of the monetary aggregate and base money 20% or 10%, 20%. Please.
But do you think, because in my thesis is that we need a credit based system on top of Bitcoin, but not a credit expansion system on top of Bitcoin?
Exactly. We need a credit system which is supporting productive economy. Productive
Yes.
and not a financial speculation economy. Let's make Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer system.
Yeah.
Okay, simple. Now, where is the peer-to-peer credit system?
Yeah.
No, we have, let's take Aave, let's take Compound, let's take all the others. They are peer to pool to peer. We are again pooling the asset. We're doing the same what the banks are doing. We are
Mm-hmm.
pooling. But you should have a peer-to-peer system. You have a peer-to-peer base money and you should have a peer-to-peer credit system, not peer to pool to peer. So,
Yeah.
yep, please.
Do you think that could be initiated via smart contracts the same way, or do you think because the pooling system I know is a little bit inefficient because it has the counterparty risk of the contracts getting hacked. But I'm wondering what then is the what then is the solution to be able to facilitate that peer-to-peer credit system?
Uh, okay, how to say it? In smart credit, we implemented it and it's in production. It's a
Yeah.
top 20 Ethereum borrow lend platform and we are clean peer to peer. We say it, there is a need. That's how we started in a smart credit. We knew my twin brother and myself. we knew Credit Suisse inside out. We knew Bitcoin inside out. We knew the Bitcoin meetups in Zurich, and we told all the time the same story. Bitcoin is only one part. You need on the Bitcoin as well a credit system, but this credit
Hmm.
system has to be as well a peer-to-peer credit system. Not that we are going to pooling of assets. As soon as we're going to pooling of assets, we're going to a different regulatory category, and there's another side effects. So peer-to-peer, and that's what we built. It's really peer-to-peer. And now
Yeah.
what should be done? That this peer-to-peer system to be connected with the real economy, with the real production. But then we are getting there into the legal system. We are getting the legal system in the sense of like in a you have two ways in a borrowing. You have always this risk that the borrower is not paying now. So either there has to be collateral, but the collateral should be easily transferable. But at the
Yes.
moment, the collateral you need a wet signature.
Yeah.
You need a wet signature, meaning you cannot make electronic collateral transfers. Try to transfer electronically real estate. Try to transfer electronically the car ownership or any other asset ownership. You cannot do it. Okay, meaning you cannot implement a credit system which will use these real assets as a collateral. The second approach will be to use the court system. That to go in the court system and saying, okay, the guy is not paying. Okay, you have to make a court order. But the courts are not so familiar with the blockchain and Ethereum and smart contracts and so on. And so this inhibits like how much you get in this real economy. So the one is like real assets as a collateral. Okay, that's one topic, but it's because of the legal system which
Mm.
stops doing it. You have to do all tricks and circumvent. Yep, please.
But what about, so could NFTs be used as a form of collateral to as digital representation for a real world asset?
Okay, okay, yes, that's what they are telling. Everyone is telling, but let's dive in a little bit. Sorry if it's getting technical. Let's take you
Yeah.
have an apartment and you have an NFT which is representing this apartment.
Hmm.
Let's say now you're borrowing against this NFT.
Yes.
You borrow tons of money and you decide not to pay back. And now
Hmm.
the lender gets the NFT. What's now? Who has the legal claim on this apartment? The lender is saying, I have an NFT, but the borrower, if he's not good person, he's saying, listen, I have a legal ownership of the apartment. I have the
Yeah.
title on the apartment. You lender, come and sue me.
Yeah, but what about potential time locked smart contracts to help facilitate, say, hey, look, you have this specific amount of time that's ingrained within the code to be able to facilitate the payment back to the creditor.
Oh, okay, I agreed. I agreed.
Yeah.
I'm just fully agreed. Time locked. Fully agreed. Now,
Yeah.
the point being, as soon as we're getting to real world assets, we have a legal ownership. You can create an
Yes.
NFT and say this represents the real asset. You can do
Hmm.
it. The question is, will the court accept it? If
I
borrower is not
see.
paying, will the court accept it? Or court is saying who has the title and who has the claim?
I
So
see.
two different things. That means the only way to solve it, if you want to use NFT on your apartment, you have to transfer your apartment in a special purpose vehicle. And then you
Hmm.
need a special clauses there that this whoever has this NFT has as well is owner of this SPV, special purpose vehicle, meaning you have to circumvent the legal system. If you want
Exactly.
to make like NFTs as a collaterals or real world assets as a collaterals,
Yeah.
but you cannot do it with existing legal system with these easy means. Doesn't work.
Yes. This is exactly. I was basing my question on the premise that the existing infrastructure wouldn't exist in the future. So in a future, theoretically speaking, in my head, based off of that question, then the NFTs would be able to be leveraged to be able to facilitate peer-to-peer credit. But I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Fully agreed.
Yeah.
You need one of two options. Either you
Mm.
have the legal systems where the real assets are the real asset owner, because we have ownership and claim.
Yes.
Always ownership. There's two different things. That the ownership, having asset on your wallet means you are legal owner of a
Mm-hmm.
physical asset. You need a legal system. Now, if this is not implemented, then you have to use this SPV, like a circumventing the legal system. Okay, that's one topic. And the second topic is you need a court system which can make decisions now based on the blockchain transactions. But then it's again, is it a claim or is it an asset? Now, let me make an example. Liechtenstein implemented a blockchain law, and in Liechtenstein, blockchain law is stated the initial instrument, meaning the title, can be on blockchain. So
Hmm.
it's that means if you have this title, this asset on your account, you are the legal owner. French defined as well their blockchain law, and they said claims on the blockchain, meaning ownership, real title is outside, and you have now the claim representing the claim, meaning collateral of collateral of collateral, claim of claim of claim. So, and
Yeah.
that's why the which Bitcoin is helping us, that we are getting back to this real asset, real ownership. So
Yes.
now I'm just making an example, and to my knowledge, okay, maybe my knowledge is 2 or 3 years outdated. It's only the Liechtenstein system where you can have a initial asset title on the blockchain, and it proves the ownership.
Yeah.
So that means you need legal system adjustments, but I don't think they will happen very fast.
Yeah, I don't think it will happen very fast, but I think eventually, because at the end of the day, technology and free market usually ends up winning. But we'll see how long this plays out. You know, the regulators versus the innovators. You know.
Yeah, yes, the free market ends winning, but we are in oligopoly system. Again, in Switzerland, 251 banks. Try to create a bank in Switzerland. A little bit complex, very complex.
Yeah.
You're probably not getting a banking license. Or the same in Europe. So, like, it's oligopoly. Now, in a free market, yes, it would work. If you would have a free market like before Federal Reserve, you create your bank, you issue your own credit money. People don't
Mm-hmm.
trust your credit money, they go to another bank. It's
Mm-hmm.
perfect free money system. It will work perfectly. But what happened? Oligopoly was defined. Only bank, you need a bank license charter to create a bank. Now, if you don't have a bank charter, you cannot run a bank. You're not allowed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Closed club. You don't have a free market.
Yes.
So,
And so you mentioned more secured debt and secured credit. So what about unsecured credit? Um, like without when you don't need to issue out collateral, you know, to be able to facilitate the.
okay, let's take a credit card. Credit card is an unsecured credit. Now,
Yeah.
if you don't pay your credit card, there's a court order that you have
Yes.
to pay. If you are not paying by the court order, the liquidation of your assets, or there's a personal bankruptcy. So that means there's a consequences. So that's why the credit card system is so super effective.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but let's go now into the DeFi, decentralized finance, or let's get in the future credit systems. The issue is you don't have this kind of system on the blockchain because the court are not accepting the blockchain transactions, or they have no, either they're not accepting it, or there are no laws, or there are no precedences. So
Mm-hmm.
now in the credit card, again, it's so simple. If you don't pay, there's a court decision, and there's a court execution order, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually you got bankruptcy. But there is this kind of mechanism doesn't exist now in the blockchain sector. Now you have to get to uncollateralized credit, but disconnected with the court system, and the collateralized credit is connected with the law system. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And another question too as well before we move on, this the final one is just with Switzerland. I keep hearing stuff on the news that I guess either is there hyper Bitcoinization going on in one of the states, or is it that you can pay taxes with Bitcoin, or there's something going on in one? I think it's Lugano. Maybe it's the.
Lugano and Zug, like Switzerland. Switzerland has 26 cantons, yeah. Now,
Mhm.
and in Canton Zug, 30 kilometers from Zurich, you can pay taxes in a Bitcoin. Now, city Lugano, yes, you can pay them too. Lugano is a, you see that Zug emerged. Initially, it was this IDO wave, that was 2017, 2018, that Zug emerged, but they did a lot of bad stuff. They did a lot of these foundations, and they ended up in the scams, and so the Zug kind of went down. So, but the Lugano is going no IDOs, pure Bitcoin,
Mhm.
Lightning, Bitcoin, clear monetary system, base money, and the Lightning network. So, and yes, in Lugano you can pay taxes and in Zug. So, and
Okay.
there have been as well in Switzerland is the only country in Europe and probably in the world where it's a direct democracy. Now,
Yeah.
in other countries you have only democracy. Now, in
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland, people can make proposals. So you need to connect 50,000 votes or 100,000 votes, and you can put this on the referendum. And there is a proposal as well that Swiss National Bank has to buy Bitcoin. So this
Yeah.
proposal is in a preparation. So I hope it will get through. Obviously, there'll be huge protest of the corporations and UBS and everyone against this. Um,
Yeah.
but I hope it will get through.
So let's switch over to chainaware.ai.
Yes. Okay. Chainaware is our second project. We created first smart credit and okay, peer-to-peer lending product. And in a smart credit, we created as well a credit scoring system because you had a
Ooh,
credit score.
that's
Yes,
interesting.
we have a credit scoring system, and to implement the credit scoring system, we implemented as well a fraud detection system because you cannot have a good credit score, meaning good cash flow projections, if your address has a fraud patterns. So it's part of a credit scoring system now. And then we realized actually no one wants to use a credit score because what we discussed before, the legal system and the court system, all borrowing in a DeFi is an over collateralized. If you don't pay, you are just liquidated. So simple. There's no uncollateralized credit and real world assets. Because of the legal system, you are limited on the use of the real world assets. De facto, you are over collateralized, meaning you don't need a credit score. As soon
Yeah.
as you have enough collateral, everything is good. But we developed a fraud detection system and we did this with the AI. We trained our AI models. We have proprietary AI. We trained our AI like to predict fraud and we got 98%. We are now real time. We predict fraud happening in the future, not in the past, future on the addresses. Then we developed as well a rug pull detector. We predict rug pulls happening in the future, not in the past. Meaning you
Hmm.
enter an address, this is on at the moment on the Binance and the Ethereum only. We predict that this address will commit rug pull in the future. We don't know when, but there are patterns which indicate that it probably will do it. So,
What are those indicators for the patterns that you use to detect that?
you see the beauty now of this thing. How does it work? Is like you see there's so many AI products, so many. But if you're taking CoinGecko AI list, I think there are 200 projects of them now. But from these 200 projects, of course, let's leave half away. They don't have any products. Now hundreds are remaining, and now from these hundreds, okay, there are many of these infrastructure products. Okay, let's leave them away as well. Because AI is about the models. AI is not about infrastructure. You have to create models, and models meaning you have to make a lot of iterations, a lot of thinking. Now, from these projects, then, but the remaining CoinGecko, most of them are using OpenAI, and they are doing some LLMs or the chat GPTs and this kind of stuff. They are using OpenAI LLM models then to generate some stuff. But here you are using a model. Someone else created a model, you are using a model. And there are maybe only 20 projects in this CoinGecko AI list which have their own AI models. So that means you have to create your own AI model, meaning you have to train it. You are training it with
Yes.
the data. I'm answering your question, just coming with a circle. You train it with the bad data. You train it with the good data. So practically, you are training with bad behaviors, with known frauds. You're training with the good behaviors, and it's your AI then is what is doing these exact decisions like a bad patterns. He's recognizing, okay, this address has too many similarities with these other bad
Hmm.
addresses. Meaning, if your past actions are very similar to the fraud addresses, probably you will commit a fraud in the future. If your past actions are very similar to the good addresses, probably you will not commit a fraud in the future. And and this is this AI model creation, which is an art. It's not a science. It's an art. So, and in the CoinGecko AI list, maybe only 20 projects have their own AI models. Okay,
Hmm.
we have them too, and the rest they are just using OpenAI or they're creating infrastructure. Oh, okay, I'm not going to this discussion. So back to chain-aware. So we have fraud detection. We predict before it happens. Now, the other way to solve the fraud is with this ALM, anti-money laundering algorithm, which is very standardized. And chain analysis, CoinFirm, TRM Labs, they all are doing this. But this is
Hmm.
forensic analytics. It's like, oh, this address was involved in something. There's investigation. It's marked as a bad. Or this address got flows like from illicit funds, and that's how you calculate the fraud. So,
Hmm.
but this is very, very slow moving, not high speed, and it's a backward looking. Now, issue in the Web3, you need forward looking. So,
Yes.
predictive. So,
Yeah.
and we have the same as well our rug pull. We trained it with the rug pulls, like in a pancake swap, 90% of the pools end with the rug pulls. If you think pump.fun, I mean,
Hmm.
pump.fun is 99%. Now,
Yeah.
if you are an investor, then, and if you invest somewhere, and if you have a choice to choose the funds which are not probably ending up in a rug pools versus where you have high probabilities, what will you choose? Of course, you choose rug pull protection. Okay, that's one product, and then we realized we can do even much more. It's not only that we predict fraud or rug pull. We realized that we can predict as well next actions of users, like which users will
Hmm.
borrow, which users will lend, which users are high traders, medium traders, low traders, which users are high NFTlers, medium NFTlers, and so on. In the moment when you give me a blockchain address, and if there's a certain amount of transactions in the blockchain address, because it's all pattern matching, we predict what this address is doing as a future. Now, now you can say, what's the point? Here is the point. Because of this, you monetize this with the advertisement, with the targeting. Now, if wallets are joining your platform, your application, now all the Web3 is same message for everyone.
Hmm.
Like there's thematic message, there's thematic user interface. Everyone sees thematic user interface, super design, super whatever colors, super everything. People are different. Now
Yeah.
every person needs a specific message based on their personality, based on their persona. So, and in a Web 2, the marketing is persona based marketing.
Hmm.
They're just not telling it. People are not supposed to know it. That the big corporations know more about you than you know. Just a hint, in Europe, the Adtech market, RTB, like a real-time bidding market, is 30 billion euro annually. No one
Wow.
speaks about 30 billion. 30 billion euro. It's your data, it's my data, it's everyone's data. And when we are browsing the websites, then there's all the time is a bidding mechanism. Who is seeing which ad? But it's intention based. And the Google is calculating them, the Facebook is calculating our intentions. Twitter is making 5 billion annual revenues. 5 billion annual revenues with and it's an advertisement.
Yeah.
Twitter is an advertisement system. That's how they monetize. So they calculate the intentions and people are targeted based on the intentions. We did the same for the Web3.
Yeah.
So we are not using browsing history, we are not using social media history. We are taking the blockchain history and we predict it. Now you can say, so what? So what about it? Why do you need this prediction? Now, okay, we started with Bitcoin. We started with Bitcoin economy. Okay. Why do we need a prediction? Let me tell you a very simple example. When the Web 2 emerged, the Web 2 skipped. It was a crossing the chasm. This happened when the Adtech emerged. Before Web 2 Adtech, you went to some website, it didn't resonate it with you.
Hmm.
It was maybe weird. You get used to this website, but they're not resonating with you. Adtech was introduced and the Web 2 website started to resonate with you. So now we had the same issue in the Web 3. If the platforms are not resonating with users, users are not converting. Do you see? To get the users to the websites, the platforms, you have to resonate with users. That's it.
The entire global north has an aging population, while 70% of Africa is aged 30 and younger. Less humans plus high inflation means that businesses make less money, but it doesn't have to be you. Helicode is your one-stop shop for cheap, affordable, and most importantly, quality Web3 labor. Find out more at helicode.xyz, and as always, see you, Space Cowboy.
So when it comes to facilitating the potential advertisements that you're going to use off the leveraging the data, how do you plan to facilitate the advertisement? Is it like you're going to is there a way that you could synergetically sort of link with the wallet itself of that user and then upload an advertisement, or like how do you plan to facilitate the actual ads?
Okay, we have two steps. One is calculating the intentions, and
Okay.
the second is then how do we give personalized messages to the users? Now, okay, people are saying you can make this a wallet-to-wallet protocol, but this wallet-to-wallet protocol may works only if I'm the wallet owner saying yes, I want to get notifications, but probably I don't want to get notifications. So Like, why should I be bothered? No, I don't want. So what's remaining? So we say it's very simple. We are not inventing the wheel. We are doing the same what the Web 2 did. In a Web 2, your unit costs, the cost of converting a user are 30 or $40, 30 or
Mm-hmm.
$40. Web 3 is a $1,000, $2,000, getting the first transaction. That's the difference. In a Web 2, we have personalization on the website level. If you go to Amazon, I go to Amazon, we can make a bet. Your screen looks different than my screen. Everyone's screen looks different. We have different history, we have different past actions, different intentions. Now, back to your question. How would it work? It means you target users on your website. On your website, you place HTML snippets which are automatically configured.
Mm-hmm.
Your marketing people define who are your personas. Maybe for the beginning they define 10 personas, but then they continue. They have 20 personas, they have 50 personas. And for every personas, they define the messages. What do I, if I'm a provider platform and I have an NFT high on the platform, meaning NFT high user, what do I tell to him? If I have a gamer on the platform, what do I tell to him? If I have lender on my platform, what do I tell to him? It's not anymore the same magic message for everyone that the
Yeah.
Web3 is telling. Like we are the best UX designers, they're creating the best UX. Doesn't work. The Web2 was speaking the same story 10 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. They're out of this story. No, or 15 years ago. The Amazon, eBay, everything. These are personalized sites and they're resonating with you. So that means how is the system working? It's a personalization. It's a Web3 platforms how to personalize themselves to their users so that their
Mm-hmm.
marketing people are defining the messages. So simple. The same as a Web2 is saying. Now, in Web2, no one is speaking about this loud. In the same way as no one is speaking that the RTB, meaning real-time bidding, market is real-time ads bidding market in Europe
Mm-hmm.
is 30 billion euro annually. No one wants to speak about this. No one speaks about this that the websites are personalized to the users. But that's how you get this unit cost down. Now, if your unit costs are high, your business will not survive.
Yeah.
You have to get your unit cost down, your acquisition cost down. How do you get it? You have to create resonating experience. If you don't have resonating experience, you are not converting a user. You can give him 1,000 magic messages. He will not convert. So, and that's what Web2 learned. And we are saying, hey, don't reinvent the wheel. Use the data, that is the blockchain data, use it, calculate the intentions. We are not using any Web2 data because Web2 data has a very low prediction, prediction accuracy. Like I made an example in our fraud detection algorithm, we have 98%, it's a real time. Now, actually, we achieved 99%, but then we started to lose our real time because we use so much data. But we
Yeah.
said there's no point having 99% if you're not real time. Scale down algorithm, scale down data. And we scaled down, we're 98%, we are real time. Of course, on the big addresses, maybe if you take Vitalik or a bigger address is Vitalik ETH, and so it takes you 7 seconds at the moment. But normal addresses, half a second, 1 second, all the calculations are done. Now, so why I'm speaking about this? Okay, where I'm coming. So you're doing these calculations, but your prediction power is so high on the blockchain data. And why? Because if you take Ethereum, you have proof of work,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you are thinking, do I want to do this transaction? I pay cash for this. If you're doing Google search, if you're doing a tweet in a Twitter, if you're doing a Facebook post, you don't have any cost of transaction. You can post anything. And because you post anything, people are posting anything, meaning this anything is much more deterministic about their behavior compared to the blockchain history that they're living. Now,
Yeah.
and because this blockchain history is compared to the other people, and if you know the past actions of other people are similar, we see the future actions of similar people, we predict what you will do in the future.
Mm.
That's it. And because the prediction power is so high, you can do it. And the example is the fraud detection. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah. I wanted to because I saw that there's some kind of AI integration with the Telegram, and I wanted to ask you about how that iteration works exactly.
Oh, but we have okay in Chainaware we have two product lines. One is for like for the users because we are
Yes.
keep like Okay, of course, we have this rug pull detection that people have to pay for this, but okay. If you create a new wallet, you have always a free call. So you can create 10 new wallets, you have always, if people are paying, we are happy. But we wanted to give a fraud detection and rug pull detection free for the users. Okay, businesses, they have to pay for this, of course, but
Mm.
for the users now. In a Telegram, that we have all the functionality that you have over the user interface, this is available as well on the Telegram. You can do the fraud detection. You can do wallet auditor. Now, wallet auditor is the system which is then calculating the experience of a wallet. Now, someone is claiming that he is long in a blockchain. Send me a wallet. Let me calculate your experience. It calculates your risk profile, how
Yeah.
much risk you are taking. It calculates your intentions, meaning next actions. It analyzes your past actions. So you're a full auditor. You're a fully transparent user. So instead of someone sending you the CVs, just send me your wallet number. And there is this share my wallet as well functionality where you sign that this is my wallet, not that someone is pretending I'm someone else's wallet.
Hmm.
So, and all this functionality is available via Telegram. So, and of course, we are saying it would be nice if people are paying, but then people are creating a new wallet and de facto they are not paying. So that's
Yeah.
okay because we say the power of the fraud detection, the power of the rug pull detection, people should use it now. Why do we have people are screaming we need more users to the Web3? Let's speak now. If the crypto users, 90% of them are central exchanges, 10% are in Web3. Why? Because on the Web3, you're getting so much fraud, so much scam, and so everything. Hey, use the system, use the fraud detector, use the rug pull detector. And if you create a new wallet, it's for free, or we would appreciate if people are paying too. Now, and the other why we have in a Web3, it's the same that happened in a Web2. You crossing the chasm. We have to create resonating user experiences, like Amazon, like Twitter, like Facebook, like all these big Web2 players. The same. We need to create the same thing. So reduce the number of fraud, reduce the number of the rug pulls, reduce the number of all unethical behavior. So clean the space so that everyone has the tools to clean the space. Not only that if you pay the chain analysis, now chain analysis a yearly license will cost you $40,000. Now, I mean, who will pay this? No one, no one. Have the tools, use them. And the other side to the platforms to create these websites, resonating platforms. And then you get people. Then you get people from the central exchanges to the Web3. So simple.
Yeah. And when you look at artificial intelligence, do you think that every Web3 project should be looking of ways to integrate it into? Do you think that eventually the way the space is going, there's going to be like forced synergy between AI and Web3?
Full convergence, full convergence. Let me make an example of a smart credit.
Yeah.
We have two projects, smart credit and a chain aware. Now, in the smart credit, in the moment when you connect the wallet, we are running the fraud detection analytics. It
Hmm.
runs in the background. Now, I will not say. Okay. Okay, so practically, if you see that the wallet has a bad ranking, meaning he's below the 50%, we will just shadow ban the wallet. He
Yeah.
cannot transact. So we are saying, okay, we are not saying this on user interface, but we as a platform, we do not want to take a risk to deal with a bad wallet. He can
Yeah.
go to some other platform. Now, I think every platform should integrate predictive fraud detection. If you are in the traditional banking, you are mandated to do two types of fraud detection. One is AML, meaning bad fund flow. They're like
Hmm.
the funds from bad sources, whatever. There's a lot of bad sources that they're not getting into the mixed up in a clean money. Everyone
Yeah.
has to do it. Now, the second one, everyone has to do transaction monitoring, which is 99.9999% with an AI, meaning pattern matching. You are in Switzerland, you go to New York, you make an unusual transaction, boom, your credit card is blocked till you call a company and say like, hey, listen, I'm in New York, I really need this transaction. They say, oh yeah, it's okay. So, but this is this pattern matching system, and and every Web3 system will need it. So,
Yeah.
but now let's go further. So the AI, like what every Web3 founder needs. There are 20,000 Web3 projects, maybe 30,000 Web3 projects. But if you go on the DeFi Llama, you can see the revenues of projects. Okay, these are only DeFi projects. Okay, it's on the left. You have to scroll a little bit down. You see the
Yeah.
revenue slash fees. But what
Hmm.
you see, the projects are generating so little revenues. Now, in smart credit, we generated in half a year $60,000. And in all DeFi, in all blockchain, in all DeFi Llama, we are with this on the position 140.
Yeah.
140. But what it means, but we are not on a market cap on 140. We are market cap on 2,700. So, but what it means, it's so difficult to generate the revenues. Now, but how can every Web3 project utilize the AI? Is as well this, think about this, how you convert the users. Are you using the calls? Using calls is pointless. There is this at the website, it's called Alpha Scan, Alpha Growth, where the 750 calls are listed. Now, everyone can sort these calls by the returns on 30 days. From 750
What's
calls,
the name of it? What's the name of the website?
okay, I have to check. Was it Alpha Scan or Alpha? Let me check it very fast. Alpha, it's in my Alpha
Yeah, it's
Scan.
Alpha
Up
Scan. Okay.
that with and there are 750 like a calls, and the
Mm-hmm.
projects are paying tons of money from these calls. Now, they're paying tons of money and they hope the tokens are going up. But go on the Alpha Scan, take the Twitter accounts there. It's 10-day delay, free version. Sort them by 30-day returns. From
Mm.
750, 40 or 50 are positive in 30-day
Wow.
returns.
Wow.
40. Now, what is with others? What is with others 700 calls?
Yeah.
So what are projects doing? The founders who have to generate revenues, they are thinking, I cannot do Google ads, I cannot do Twitter ads, I cannot do Facebook ads. Let me use the calls. And the calls are just, hey, pay me money, I tweet, but there's no effect. What are the founders doing then? They go and buy a lot of media, Coindesk, article 3000 or 4000, Bitcoin.com, article 2000 or 4000. They buy a lot of media. They say, I need a conversion, but you're not getting conversion with the buying media. Then you organize AMAs and all everything.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you're coming with this philosophy, there is a magic message for the user, you will not convert the users, or your conversion cost will be so high so that you're just burning your funds. Because on the end, you have to generate revenues. Look on the DeFi Llama. Like projects will be sustainable, not if they are selling tokens all the time, but if they're generating revenues. Web3 projects have to become sustainable businesses, sustainability, not I create a new token every 12 months, I have a new idea. No, create sustainable business. It will happen the same way as in a Web2. Web2 got the unit cost down, you have to get the unit cost down too. Now, your question was like, what should every Web3 project do? Okay, the one is just a fraud.
Yeah.
Eliminate the fraud, eliminate the bad players. Say, I don't want the bad risk wallets interacting with my platform.
Yeah.
I just shadow ban them, like, don't come here. Now, the second is use the systems to bring down your unit costs. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you bring your unit cost down, you bring your conversion up and you start to generate revenues. If you start to generate revenues, you will be sustainable business, not that you have to create token every 12 months.
Yeah.
But then people say, hey, you did it already 12 months ago. Why you do it again? So you cannot do it. So calls. Calls are not generating for you revenues. They're
Yeah.
using your funds. Now, buying crypto media creates only awareness, but you need a conversion. How do you create a
Yes.
conversion? So that means when we are looking on a Web3, we say Web3 marketing is a 1930s marketing. The good
Mm.
old Madison Avenue marketing, 1930s. Everyone gets the same newspaper. Everyone gets the same newspaper, goes to the Macy's, the same
Yeah.
shop with the same newspaper and the same shopping floor. It's
Yeah.
1930s. Result is massive unit costs, no
Yes.
conversion, no sustainability. And you see, I'm in the sector pretty long, like 10 years or a little bit longer.
Mm.
And so, of course, my interest is that the sector is developing. Okay,
Yes.
we did a smart credit peer-to-peer system, perfect. It runs, it's stable, good. But for the sector to develop, we have central exchanges. And of course, they are using all the advanced systems that are there. They know how the
Mm-hmm.
system is working. But the sector develop, you have to Web3 to get Web3 developing. Now, how do you get Web3 developing? You have to get the scams and frauds down. You have to
Yeah.
reduce them so that new people who enter the sector, that they're not frauded and scammed. Because
Yeah.
they get scammed, they get frauded, then they exit the system. They say, oops, bad. I'm exiting. Now, the second thing is Web3 founders, they have to understand there's no magic message. It's a persona based marketing, creating resonating user interface is the same as Web2 is doing it. Now, in Web2, you can finalize, listen, you can, it's like I studied economics. I studied multiple things. I studied economics. I didn't study how the monetary system is working. I
Mm-hmm.
finished MBA in Maryland. I didn't study persona-based marketing, but it was a
Mm-hmm.
marketing course. Now, most of people don't know you how to do the persona-based marketing. It's
Yeah.
so obvious. You have to speak with the people in the language that people want to listen so that you resonate
Yes.
with them. You cannot speak
Exactly.
with everyone in the same style. It doesn't work. Oh, it works, yeah, but it doesn't convert. No. But Web3 businesses, they have to convert, to become sustainable. And if they become this conversion is going up, they create the resonance with users. And users will come back to the site because users are coming back to Twitter. They're coming back to Facebook because it's resonating with them. So they have this resonating user experience, not hey magic user experience, but resonating user experience. And we think that if these two things are solved, from one side, fraud and rug pull, reduce them, and from other side is resonating user experiences, then you get the users to the Web3.
Mm.
That's the crossing of the chasm. The famous thing. What happened in a Web2, the same has to happen in a Web3. And Web2 is the same. Fraud rates down. Yeah, credit card frauds, famous thing, credit card fraud systems. Get them down. And the personalization, meaning resonating. People think personalization means like I can personalize my background color. No,
Mm-hmm.
personalization means the provider personalizes the experience for you
Yes.
based on your buyer intentions. So, and that's how the Web 2 took up. Okay, sorry, I'm speaking
Yeah,
too
no,
much.
no,
Back to
no,
you.
no. This is great. This is great. Keep talking, keep talking. And then I also wanted to ask you, like, when do you think that we would be able to get to that point of where we can lower our cost basis and actually start running actual businesses instead of sham coins?
Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling is something that will not just challenge your perspective, but also touch your heart and soul. It's a book that defies convention, blending art and literature into a thought provoking masterpiece. A reflective piece of provocative art that tackles societal constructs from angles you've never considered. Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling delves into the very essence of our existence. It questions the technology that surrounds us, challenges our notions of beauty, stares unflinchingly into the eyes of death, and questions the boundaries of freedom. It scrutinized the educational system that molds our very future. This book is a journey, an exploration of shared human experience, and it's a work of art that refuses to be confined by tradition. It's a canvas painted with words, a melody of thought, and a testament to the power of creativity in a world dominated by algorithms and data. Visit moonboycapitalventures.com and get your hands on Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling today. It's not just a book, it's a movement. Now let's jump back into the show.
The
Um,
unique. It's all the question of the unit costs. Now let's
mhm.
think. Let's make a very simple calculation. I just make it now like ad hoc. Now
Yeah.
the CPC, it's cost per click. If let's take OECD countries, Western Europe, America, Canada, Australia. In the CPC on the Web3, we're speaking of $4 or $5. Let's take $5 for the
Mm-hmm.
simple calculation. Now let's say I can do CPC, let's say with Etherscan, with other crypto media. Actually, it will cost me more as a $5. But let's stay beyond the $5. Now, let's say I bring 20 users to the website and one will connect the wallet, which is a very good result.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say from these 20 who connected the wallet, let's say five will transact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, sorry. Every fifth will transact, so one out of five. And you see,
Mm-hmm.
he will do his first transaction. My unit costs are then 5 times 20 times 5. Sorry, how much it?
Yeah.
So, what is
It
it?
should be 5%, right?
Okay, like
You're
if
getting
I
one
get,
out of every 20, right?
oh, okay, I'm on 500, yeah, $500. I'm on $500. But let's simplify. Let's say one out of 10
Yes.
will now connect the wallet.
Okay.
I'm on $1,000 unit costs. But we know from smart credit, the unit costs are not $1,000. The unit
Yeah.
costs are much higher. And the same is for other platforms. The unit costs to get the user to transact are not $1,000. It's the cost of marketing that you're paying the marketing channels, plus you have internal marketing cost on top of this. So add this all together and you have a very high unit cost. Now, if you're in the Web 2, unit costs on a Web 2 platforms, $30, $40. How do you want to compete with Web 2? You don't have resonating websites. You have so high unit costs. How do you want to compete with the Web 2?
Meme coins would argue that with the resonating website, but
Okay, but you need a utility, you need a function, you need a borrow lend system, or you need some other systems. You need a system which is creating some
yes,
utility for the Web3
yes,
users. A payment system, borrow lend system, investment system, but the leverage taking systems, and so on, so on. The people get utility.
yeah,
But you see, and as long as these unit costs are so massively different, in a what you're speaking, factor 30, factor 40 difference, the
yeah,
Web3 is non-sustainable. And because it's Web3 is non-sustainable, the founders are thinking, whew, the chances that I'm creating a sustainable business are very limited. Let's look on the DeFi Llama, let's scroll there a little bit down, I see the revenues, and let's imagine, am I able to generate the revenues or is it a very low probability? It's very tough to generate revenues in a Web3. Now,
yeah,
and then what happens, they think already, I will not generate revenues. It is very difficult. So, and then these pump and dump schemas are emerging. So, because the founders are thinking the probability that I'm getting the revenue, meaning sustainability, is so low, why should I fight? Why should I kill myself? Do you see? Now, if you tell the founders there are means to get your unit cost down, because unit cost down meaning your conversion is going up, your revenues are going up, you can create sustainable business. That means the bumps and dumps are disappearing. This means people start to trust more
mm-hmm,
the Web3. So that means it's all cost, it's the unit costs. So,
yeah,
and what we will be very happy if there are tens of systems doing the same what we are doing. They
yeah,
will come and copy us because it will speak the same story. Bring the unit cost down. Because if you bring the unit cost down, you are able to compete with the Web 2. If you don't have it, I mean, the project will just not survive. How can they finance $1,000 like a unit cost per first transaction? How do you get a second transaction for the guy? How much do you have
yeah,
to pay for the second transaction, for the third transaction? Of course, there are some big players. There's a very high centralization. Yes, you see this in a DeFi Llama, this revenue section.
mm-hmm,
So, but there are 20, 30, 40,000 Web3 projects. If
yeah,
they don't generate revenues, they will disappear. All this innovation is disappearing. Now, for the innovation to sustain, they have to start generating revenues.
mm-hmm,
They will sustain and they will learn iteratively, iteratively, iteratively. One more thing, what I just remembered is this: all these big Web2 platforms, they are very iterative approach. Now, but if your funds are running out because you don't generate revenues or your VC funds are running out, how do you do these iterations? You don't have them. Your time, you are expired. Your time is running out. So you see, and innovation stops because there is never a perfect solution at the beginning. There's no perfect first shot, but 10th shot, 10th iteration, maybe 20th iteration, maybe 15th iteration will be perfect. So you iterate together with your clients. Your clients ask something, you iterate, you, you adjust to this. That means you have to survive certain time period to do these
mm-hmm,
iterations
yeah.
and to
What
start to
about
share it.
what about the leveraging of the community based marketing and persona marketing? Do you think that's not personalized enough? Because when people have questions and etc., and you try to give them a personalized experience by answering it right away and etc.
No. I know the Web3 marketing is a very community-based marketing. And I
Yes.
know all these marketing agencies, they're speaking about the community-based marketing and all of these things. Now, let me tell you, before I'm answering your question, let me tell you something. If you take a Web2 marketing industry landscape,
Mm-hmm.
before the Google, Facebook, Twitter emerged, you see the biggest chunk went to the marketing agencies.
Yeah.
Now, the same we have in a Web3 now. The biggest chunk of the marketing budgets goes to marketing agencies and then the influencers. Now,
Yeah.
then Web2 introduced the Adtech. And what happened? This chunk that belonged to the marketing agencies was taken over by the Adtech. And marketing agencies became the users of the Adtech. They became the power users of the Adtech. And they started to serve small, medium enterprises, corporations, and the others who didn't have skills in-house.
Yes.
So simple it was. So, but the same transformation will happen in Web3. Web3, the marketing agencies will scale down. The ad tech has to scale up because ad technology will bring your unit cost down. It's not the marketing agencies. Marketing agencies are service agencies. We spoke before the banks. Banks' motivation is to earn the money, their sales organization. Marketing agencies' motivation is to earn money. They are not there to innovate. They're
Yeah.
just earning money. And they will tell you to the community, but think on a community. Community is same message to everyone. Again, same message to everyone. But I have to respond to you as a person, depending how many personas I'm defending. Are you an NFT collector? Are you leverage taker? Are you gamer high? Are you gamer low? Are you lender high? Are you borrower low? Like depending, who are you? Or are you borrower low and a gamer high that you start to combine the personas? Depending on which persona you are, my messaging to you should be different.
Yeah.
If you are NFT collector, I cannot message to you so as I'm messaging to the borrower. Now, then Telegram messages or the community management. So, yeah, you you can bring it to a certain level. You can create awareness, but you convert users with this. On the end, again, unit conversion, unit cost. Now, marketing agencies, back to marketing agencies. Their motivation is not innovation. Their motivation is generate revenues as a
Hmm.
banks. They offer you community management, they offer you calls, they offer you media buying, they offer you press releases. What else did I forgot? Some guerrilla marketing, whatever it means. And they offer you a lot of things. And they earn revenues, they take the high cut. They're happy. They're not innovating. So you need ad tech and you need marketing agencies starting to use this ad tech. And the smarter ones start to use this ad tech, they bring the unit cost down, they bring the margin up, and then this know-how will distribute. And the more this know-how will distribute, you see, the more because ad tech needs as well power users. You cannot
Yeah.
do it without marketing agencies. Like in a Web 2, you need marketing agencies who will use the Google technology, Facebook technology, Twitter technologies, because the small, medium enterprises, they are over challenged with this. They cannot understand it. It's too
Hmm.
new, too different world. So they need someone to do this heavy lifting. And this will
Yeah.
be the marketing agencies. So, and of course, they keep talking about community management, about all the usual story, calls, yada yada. Beautiful. Does it bring the conversion? That's the question. Now,
Yeah.
go to one marketing agency, Web3 marketing agency, and tell them, I will pay you CPA, cost per action. What do you think? How many will agree with this? How many? They will not. Or
Yeah.
maybe some very advanced who are using their own proprietary technologies, they will use cost per action.
Yeah.
They will only sell you their time. So, okay, back to you.
When it comes to the decentralization of the ad tech, how do you think that's going to look in terms of the future of Web3? And do you think that there's going to have to be some form of centralization to be able to control the ad tech?
Okay, let's think first what is AdTech, and then let's answer the question. Now,
Yeah. Go
what
ahead.
is a Web2 AdTech?
Hmm.
Very simple. In a Web2 AdTech, Google is taking your browsing history. Okay, how does
Yes.
Google get your browsing history? In the moment when you have these captchas, he
Hmm.
sends you browsing the terms and conditions, read them through. He sends you browsing history to Google as well. You in the moment you click the captcha, your browsing history goes there too. He uses your search history. And based on this, he calculates who you are.
Yeah.
So that means he has identification for you. Okay. Okay. Now the same is Twitter. And Twitter is actually okay. It's a little bit different. Twitter is not search based, but Twitter sees your interest. This is what are you following? What are you reading? What is your reading time? How much you're reading certain posts? Based on this, I'm calculating your intentions. Let's do the Facebook. And the Facebook is again calculating your intentions. Now, Google has like 2,500, 2,600 attributes about you. Most of them being the attributes, the future, your intentions, your buyer intentions. Facebook has like 3,000. Twitter, I don't know, probably the same scale. So that means what is an ad tech? Ad tech is from one side that I'm calculating out the intentions of the guy. Of course, there are past actions, but because I want to sell something, I need a future action. What is
Yeah.
his future intention? He did something in the past beautiful. He bought BMW in the past. Probably he will not buy a new one. He has a car now. Like, I, I, so what are his intentions? What are his next actions? So
Mm.
this is one step. And the second step is we need to tell now to communicate with potential users based on their intentions, not anymore with a magic message. Like we hire the best user experience designer, we hire the best texters, they will make the best messages. Doesn't work. So you marketing people have to define personas, and then based on personas, you define the messages for every persona, maybe three, four, five, 10 messages, different messages. Now, and you can keep adding it. And some messages are not converting, you remove them, you replace with the new ones. So it's an iterative process. The same way as companies are developed iteratively, marketing has to be as well operationalized and developed iteratively. So, okay, that means what is an ad tech? This is two steps. The first is I'm calculating intention. What is guy doing next? And the second is I need a means to target them. Okay, now what are the means to target? Okay, there's a wallet-to-wallet messaging, in a Web3 that we have. But well, who wants to scam his wallet? So it's a good idea. Well, maybe people start to enable it.
Yeah.
So then we have ad technology outside of the website, but it's pretty limited because as soon as you, let's say you're a DeFi product, forget there's so many regulated businesses. You are not
Mm-hmm.
getting ad accounts. So that means your ways to do the advertisement outside of the website are pretty limited. Now, if you are non-DeFi, of course, then it's easier for you. Easier. You can get an ad accounts. Not so easy, but you can get it. But even then, now I have an ad account. You shouldn't do wide targeting. You should go narrow targeting on new segment. If you do wide targeting, you're just burning your budget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't support your Unicos. So now let's suppose you are getting then the users to the website and you target them on the website. So that means what is an ad technology? So that means two steps. The one is I'm calculating next intentions, next steps of the guys. Um, okay, of course I know what he did in the past, but I'm interested in what he will do in the future.
Yeah.
Like if he bought a BMW, he will not need a car next 5 years. He's happy.
Yeah.
Don't sell him BMW. He has it already. What is his next actions? So the second is you want to target him. Okay, how do you want to target? Okay, there are not so many options. Okay, wallet to wallet messaging. Then this technology that we are offering, one-to-one targeting on the website. And then we have as well a technology, partial this technology that we can target users outside of the website. But then you need ads accounts. But
Mm-hmm.
they are restricted. So, and this together is an ad technology. And now who are the users of ad technology? These are the marketing agencies. They are the marketing agencies who will then think, create personas, think to whom I'm showing which messages, which colors, which images, which illustrations, what will convert, what will not convert. So, and this has to emerge in a Web3. Yeah, back to you. I don't know. Did I answer your question? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You did. And when it comes to just decentralization as a whole, though, do you think that that is a possibility to fully become autonomous at some point with the synergies of AI? Do you think that's a future for Web3, or do you think this is not a possibility at all?
okay, you mean like a Web3 and AI interaction? Oh, okay. First, let's
It,
this. Oh, please.
yes, Web3 and AI interaction, but in regards to the actual optimization of, okay, I build a project and then I relinquish control of that project and decentralize it
Uh,
to the community. You don't think this is a possibility?
Okay, there is one very good paper from Vitalik. He published this in January. Vitalik Buterin, it was like AI use cases in a blockchain. Of course, he was a very politically correct. He has to be politically correct when he's writing these papers. Okay, so practically, like, but a lot of people are doing the generative AI, but generative
Mm-hmm.
AI has nothing to do with the blockchain. Generative ID. Sorry, guys, if you're listening to this. Generative AI, you're generating stuff with an LLM models, which
Mm-hmm.
someone else has trained. Now, in Vitalik's article, he's as well saying It's about using blockchain data. So using the data that is there in a blockchain, which is highly predictive data, use
Mm-hmm.
it. And you can use it like a fraud, a scam, Adtech, or pricing data, create the pricing bots. Okay, up pricing, down pricing, all the pricing algorithms. Use this data. Now, giving control to the AI. No, no. The control, people will have the control. You cannot give a control decisions to the AI. This will not
Yeah.
work. Now, we have a predictive AI, we have a generative AI, and there is this HAI. Okay, we made one Twitter space, I think it was 4 weeks or 2 weeks ago. It was about what is HAI. And now there are even some projects which are speaking about the HAI, but very big difference now between generative AI and HAI, which doesn't exist yet, is generative AI. The system doesn't know why he gets to some conclusion. He just creates some output. This would be the same if I would be speaking without thinking what I'm speaking.
Yeah.
It's an auto-regression model where you calculate the most probable next output. That's it. That's generative AI. Now, to get to the HAI, you need the system to explain why I did this decision. The LLMs, they cannot explain, not capable. They're not capable to do it. So that means with HI, we're getting a decision spaces, like a human brain. Now, what is decision space? If you play chess, you're thinking, do I play this way or that way? My opponent plays this way. This is a decision space. And so there are decision trees and this decision space, how many steps I'm calculating forward and my opponent calculates forward too. So you get a highly complex decision space. So, and then uh, one path from this decision space is selected and HCI can explain, I took this path because of this. So,
Yeah.
and okay, this that we need. Now, the second step that we need for the HCI, these are knowledge graphs. Okay, let me visualize this. Okay, probably you have seen with LLM generated pictures where there are 5 fingers, 6 fingers on the hand, or three
Yeah.
eyes,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no knowledge graph behind. Like we humans, we know hand has 5 fingers, human have 2 eyes, there's one mouth, 2 ears, and so on. That's a knowledge graph. I'm describing a domain.
Yeah.
So that means decision space and decision taking in a decision space and the knowledge graphs have to be connected. So we need a knowledge graphs with a decision space, and then we need a fast ways to then iterate over this decision space that what is better solution, what is first solution. Let's make again a chess example. Do I make this move or another move? Okay, in one I lose in 2 moves, in other I lose in 3 moves. So which one is
Yeah.
better? So okay, 3 moves in this case. So and that's an HAI. So we need a knowledge base, we need a decision. And this doesn't exist. And even if we are getting it, we are getting very specialized HAIs. We're
Mm-hmm.
getting like we are doing prediction for the fraud, for the behavior, for the rug pulls.
Yeah.
So you're getting very specialized decision spaces and knowledge graphs, but you're not getting this overwhelming, everything knowing HAI. This will not emerge. This will take ages to get there. Again, you need a knowledge graph.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need decision spaces. So, and these are these 3 AI types. And Vitalik says very nicely, it's a predictive AI. And when we were reading this paper, it was end of January, then we were like, thank you, Vitalik. We were already thinking, what is going on? Thank you, Vitalik.
It's yeah. So that's a very very great explanation for it, and yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. I think we'll conclude it here. Where can people find you and your projects on the internet?
Okay. Chainaware is then chainaware.ai, and the Twitter channel is, just Chainaware. And my twin brother and myself, my twin brother is my co-founder. Oh, co-founder. So every 2 weeks we are just speaking on X spaces. We are speaking about HAI, about AI, about Web3, about the algorithms, about the Adtech, about the no, favorite topic is about the calls, why the call-based marketing is not working.
Yeah.
Just to protect, just to educate the Web3. The other
Yeah.
founders. We have got the lessons. We got these lessons. We paid a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Let the others have it a little bit easier. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to say again, just thank you so much. Do you have any closing thoughts before we go?
O- Okay, so what I'm saying, like I'm very excited about the Web3 because you see, like I worked very long in a Credit Suisse. I understood how the banks are working, how the monetary systems are working. I was initially thinking there's an error in the system which has to be corrected. But then I understood it's not an error, it's by design.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I became, this time it was a Bitcoin, now it's a Web3, because all the ideas are self custody. You
Yeah.
get away from these chains of collateral, chains of claims.
Yeah.
You own the assets. You're getting into the same system as it existed before the Federal Reserve. So, and and what is required for this? So, these kind of systems, we need a credit systems for this. We need an Adtech systems for this. We need a fraud systems for this. I would be very happy if 100 other projects will do the same as we are doing.
Yeah.
It's about
Absolutely.
crossing the chasm. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree, man. Just want to say thank you again. And yeah, we got to do this again another time, man. This has been very, very educational and a lot of tons of knowledge that you have, man. I didn't even get through all my questions, but I'm well above the time limit. So, but let's do
Okay.
this again another time, man. I
We do it
appreciate you.
again.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Take
you.
care, man. Have a good one. This concludes this
Thank
episode
you.
of the Mooncast, and peace.